Welcome to CDMO Career Stories, part of the Metric Podcast Network. The careers that shape the CDMO and biopharma industry rarely follow a straight line. This show is about the people behind them. Every episode, we sit down with senior leaders and commercial practitioners to talk about the decisions that define them, how they build and lead high-performing teams, how they win business, and where the talent landscape is heading next. We're here on day 3 of DCAT 2026 in New York. I'm joined by Marie Leblanc, Executive Vice President of the Life Sciences Division at Biosynth. Marie, thank you very much for taking the time. I know it's a very busy week, so thanks for joining us. How's the week going for you so far?
Yeah, very good. Well, good morning, Sam, and thank you for inviting me as well. Giving me this opportunity. It's a pause in the week, so that's a great opportunity. I think the week has been very, very busy, but very exciting. As always, being in New York, it's and at DCAT, meeting with the community. There is a lot of opportunities, talks, meeting again with people from the network, and that gives a lot of vibrant atmosphere. So this pause is very welcome, and thank you for hosting me into this studio. Yeah, today.
Great. No, thanks for joining us. And I guess for those that don't know and might not have met you before, can you just do a little introduction to yourself and I guess to your role at Biosynth?
Yeah, no, certainly I can do that. So, Marie Leblanc. I'm probably, as you can hear from my accent, I'm French. I've been in the industry now in life science CDMO for about 20 years. Originally, I have from a background perspective, PhD in chemistry, in organic chemistry and polymer chemistry. And I moved very quickly after the lab into a commercial role and joined the industry by joining Lonza. First, not into the CDMO space. Lonza was very active into the product area in chemistry, but I then transitioned and pivoted quickly to the CDMO side of things. And it's been an exciting journey. I spent 18 years at Lonza, and then about a year ago, I switched into a different, I would say, type of companies. I joined Biosynth, which is also a Swiss chemical company providing critical raw materials and reagents for life science and diagnostics markets. So very exciting, very excited to be here, also into a different role, bringing different perspectives and engaging into different conversations with the industry.
Great. No, I think there's some really interesting points, I think, throughout your career. I suppose 2 questions that I'd have in terms of your origin and sort of specific decisions that you've made would be, at what point did you know that you wanted to move into a commercial position? And then beyond that, at what point did you know you wanted to move into CDMO and the services side of the industry?
So those are great questions, and I think the answer is I never knew. It came by opportunity. So the first move into transitioning from a scientific role and into a commercial was really more by, let's say, reducing the landscape of opportunities. Originally, I wanted to be a professor at university. This is why I moved into decided to do a PhD. That was my career plan. But after a couple of months, I think I realized maybe I needed to be challenged by a different, I would say, environment and not to become the expert. So, it was maybe first learning about myself more than, really a good motivation, I would say, to step into a commercial role. And then I would say it was the time, when I've graduated from my PhD, the time of maybe less opportunities into moving back into the industry, into a more, let's say, scientific role. So I opened it up, to being open-minded, start where you can, and then the opportunity from Lonza came. I never had heard about the company itself, did not know about, whether I would like it or not to be into a commercial role. But I stepped into it with a clear, open mind and just thinking, okay, I'm here, let's do the best out of it. But I figured after maybe 2 weeks, I was really enlightened, I would say, by the commercial, I would say, part of things, the fact that you have the opportunity to solve different types of challenges from a very maybe sometimes operational, I would say, topic it may sound like very old now, but I remember my first challenge was to unlock a truck which was locked into the customs at that time. So that was, very, very practical to a more strategic, I would say, thinking, in how do you grow the business? Where do you prioritize and focus? Where do you have the chance to win? So that was really, I would say, the enlightening part for me. And then pivoting what was your second question? From a more leadership role?
Yeah, well, pivoting into a CDMO, so into
CDMO.
service-based.
Yeah, so again, I think it was really opportunity-driven. I was within Lonza. There was those two divisions. My background in chemistry gave me, I had a deep scientific expertise. They were looking for profiles which were having this combination of scientific understanding but also customer relationship. I don't think I overthought it too much. It was just the opportunity was there, and then I really enjoyed it as well. I think, the services industry is giving you a lot of opportunity to be creative, to think with your customer about what is the right solution to their problem. But I would say, within products, because now I also cover a lot of products within the Biosynth area, you find, I would say, within the industry today, there is no one-size-fits-all. So there is also a level of customization in products. And this is certainly where, Biosynth, but also other players in the industry can add value, to the supply chain, I would say, of the life science and diagnostics industries in healthcare.
Great.
Yeah.
And that's probably the next most pivotal, or at least from the outside looking in, it appears to be the next most pivotal sort of section of your career, that decision to leave Lonza after such a long period of time and holding many different positions and working across multiple modalities in the end. So what prompted that decision? What was your motivation to make that move?
To make the move? There are probably several factors, but I think I needed to be challenged. Probably, I was probably feeling a little bit in my comfort zone, and wanted to see something different. So, in terms of also size of the companies, the challenges are not the same. You need, I would say, you have probably a little bit more opportunity to shape it as you like, to a certain degree, or as you think it's right. So that gives a lot of I would say options to look into, and to be a bit more agile as well in the decision making process. From my perspective, that's the part I would say I enjoy today a lot, but it also comes with some, certain drawbacks. That's a bigger corporate organization can offer you as well. So, you can't have it all, and you need to, I'm just enjoying the experience, I would say, today, and in playing into a different environment, and having this ability, I would say, to turn, the Biosynth it's a long-standing company. We are celebrating our 60 years anniversary in 26, and it's very deeply rooted into science. So we have a very strong team of experts into very various modalities, from chemistry to peptides, enzymes development or bioconjugations, but even antibodies or antigens for diagnostic solutions. But it's an opportunity to transform the organization, with keeping those roots into the science, into a maybe more commercially oriented organization, with addressing the needs from the market and not, only focusing on the science per se. So, great opportunity, I would say. Customers, what I found, and the market are very open, to engage into those conversations and see how Biosynth can help them, through their development and commercialization.
Great. And how does your role fit within the broader, broader spectrum of Biosynth products and services? How does that sort of knit together with the rest of the organization?
Yeah, so the role I have, is really focusing on finding out, I would say, the strategic growth path, right, for Biosynth across products and services and the different modalities we have, and addressing the needs of the life science market. So one of my peers is covering the diagnostics market, I would say, across the different modalities. But then we exchange a lot. We found a lot of similarities. I would say the markets are also, moving more and more to a combination of theragnostics, right? So combination of therapeutics and some diagnostics, I would say, elements. So we are, I would say, in a unique position, in my view, to really, capture some of the innovations and the growth potential of the market going forward. Yeah.
Great. So in terms of building and leading teams, I guess what is your approach to how you would initially build a team, and then what is your approach to sort of leading from the top down strategically?
Yeah. So in terms of, I would say, building teams, there are different components to it. I mean, one is the composition of the team, right? I think in general, I'm looking to have different profiles to ensure we engage into, meaningful debates and sharing different perspectives, because I think this is really how the best ideas are coming, not only out of one person, but from a team and collective thinking, I would say. But again, not thinking everyone in the same direction. I think, getting different views is really beneficial. So I try to be mindful about, having different background, different types of experiences, people who, would have maybe worked into small companies versus others who may have had more corporate career. But having this mix, I think, is very important for me to build high-performing teams. That's really something I pay attention to, yeah.
Okay. And is that something that you pay particular attention to now that you have a global team and global oversight, or was that the same when it was regional?
Well, it's a good question. So I think it's the global view is indeed playing a role, but it's also maybe the scope of the team, which is a little bit different. When I started leading teams, it was purely a sales team. So here I would say the diversity of profile was important to address, I would say, different type of customer needs, whether you're looking for really doing customer acquisitions through business development activities, or people who are, I would say, more engaging into nurturing customer relationship, account management, strategic account management. Now that I would say, leading more an organization, with different types of functions, then also the mix, I would say, maybe comes a little bit more naturally from a, I would say, requirements in terms of the skills and competencies which are required by the role itself and the function itself.
Okay, and that, I guess, that feeds into a question about sort of internal versus external talent. So is there a particular approach that you take when looking to promote and, I guess, improve and enhance internal talent versus then your approach when it comes to external talent?
Yeah, I think, the common maybe theme to whether I look to develop, internal people or hire externally is more maybe on the soft skills, right, then, and where I'm looking for, I would say here maybe a kind of a level playground in terms of trust and accountability. And collaboration. I would say those are the three elements, which do not appear on a CV, right? But which are very important for me, building this relationship between not only, I would say, myself and the person, my direct report, but also, among the peers, I mean, among the team is very important, that people can trust one another. I think that's really great. And then the accountability element, I think, is also, critical to have really teams which are functioning well. It comes as well, I think, from me as a leader to set clearly what are the accountabilities and to empower them as well to drive this accountability. And the final point on collaboration, I think, is essential as well, so that we, we may have different perspective. We may have also sometimes, I would say, KPIs which are, may pull a little bit into a different directions. But it's important to collaborate and to see what's the overall impact and biggest picture. Yeah.
And would you say has your approach to sort of external talent, has that been determined or I guess influenced by a particular mistake that you've made when hiring? Can you point to one sort of specific instance?
I think, one of the biggest mistake I've done, which I keep, very much in mind today, even when I do hiring, was to rush. Rush in the sense that I had a need, but the person I hired, I knew, in my instinct, I knew it would not be a good fit. But I still decided to go forward because I wanted, something to get done, right? I was seeing the need, and I was really, really much worried about, the fact of not having someone available to do the work I was supposed to, to complete, to be available. And then I moved forward with the hiring. I would say not too many damages because it was more an intern, so short-term project. But still, I would say the level of engagement and commitment it required from myself to be able to move the needle and was really not worth it. It was really clear at the very end, that the benefit was not there, and it was even more detrimental, I would say, to not only to the project, but also, to the overall impact of the rest of the team, because I had less attention, to focus on some other issues, and then even the outcome of the project was not good. So I keep that in mind sometimes, because the market is very dynamic, right? And there are some needs which are appearing, and you think, okay, I need to move on, because I want to deliver on this and to act upon it. But I always then take a step back and rethink, okay, no rush, take the time, find rather someone, who is fitting into the role, fitting into the team again. I think, this element of soft skills, what would be the team dynamic, is very important. And then I prefer, I would say, to delay than the hiring rather than move forward too quickly and just tick the box exercise. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's been really a learning experience. Again, not too many damages. It was an internship, but good one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess, a good kind of one to learn and something to take into hiring. And I understand every hire is important, and it's I guess it's important that it fits with the existing culture and can move things forward, as opposed to I guess in that particular case perhaps moving things backwards a little. And as someone that's obviously seen different perspectives, different modalities and different spectrums in terms of size of organization now throughout your career, how do you view the talent landscape, and have you noticed any specific changes in recent years?
I think, the recent changes are coming more maybe from the industry. We are seeing a little bit the change of, moving from a more general approach. I would say, we've been talking a lot about the past couple of years around end-to-end, one-stop shop. And I think this is not really the case anymore. The industry is moving a little bit away from that. By being maybe more specialized, or there is, let's say, maybe there is the opportunity for, or the space, for every type of companies. But I think, people were before looking for generalists, for, I would say certain less level of expertise maybe in certain modalities, while today I think, there is a little bit of a shift where there is a more value in terms of the scientific experience, talking the same words than your customers. I think it's important. What I found challenging, I think, to fill as a role, or let's say to find, the good characteristics in terms of candidates, has always been the same, is to have, people who understand the science, experts or not, but I would say who have also an interest and a curiosity about the science, to engage with their customers in a sincere way. I think, that's important, to be authentic, but also have this ability, really this business acumen, which I think is really critical, to understand, what matters, what's not, be able again to focus on very operational things sometimes, to be very tactical and transactional, but have the ability as well to zoom out and understand the bigger picture and, have this kind of auto-checking, right? Am I on the right track? And not being only dictated, by your leadership, saying, well, this is... you're going the wrong way or not, right? I think having this ability to be more self-aware, also in a commercial position and thinking, okay, this is right, I'm on the right path, or no, I should pivot, because this is more important now, or this is where I have the biggest opportunities is very critical. Yeah.
Okay, and would you say that's a general... not necessarily a sort of difficulty, but something that you found across the board with commercial roles, or would you pinpoint a certain area within the commercial organisation that's particularly relevant? I think
it's across commercial roles, but for instance, I'm now also leading the project management team and the proposal team. I think those are elements which are very important as well. I mean, because they are being engaged into customer relationship, even though they are maybe not doing the negotiation per se. But it's important, I would say, to always understand this. Let's say, I would say, much more, maybe daily operations and activities and the impact it has on in the bigger context. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So you've obviously had a long and very successful and varied career. So what motivates you to continue?
Well, I mean, me now, I don't have a straightforward answer. So there are multiple elements. I think, first of all, I really much enjoy what I'm doing, and I mean by enjoying, there are several elements to it, The first one is I think, having an impact that I can see, and being, being driven. But the second one, which is very, which is something which came with by leading teams, I would say, is having an impact on the people, and giving the opportunities, I would say, to my team members, but also the rest of the organization to develop. Sometimes they can develop within the organization or outside of the organization, but seeing the growth path and the learning, I would say, is really something I enjoy. Which I also, do through mentoring sometimes. I mean, this is something I really like, And the second one also, which relates a little bit to this, is, the impact it has, for me as being a female leader, which is, I would say, still probably too rare in the industry, although it's increasing. Having a daughter, it's very important for me, that she has a role model. I've been missing role models in this industry, and that, I mean, you can basically also, have the career you want. I mean, she will be free to do what she wants, but I think, just being, maybe a source of inspiration and a source of, let's say, inspiration from the freedom, right? You can do what you want to do. I think that's the important part and what motivates me to continue my career, yeah.
Great. Yeah. I mean, brilliant answer. And I think that's certainly a very strong sentiment that I'm sure people would echo. So that's really good. And in terms of your successor then, if you were to leave tomorrow, what would your successor look like?
Well, I guess it will, I can talk for today, but I would assume if I were to leave, tomorrow, maybe the environment would be also different. So the skills and requirements then for my successor might be slightly different. As of today, I think what's important in the role I am is to have the vision. Where do we want to go? Because we are into this transition phase at Biosynth, as I mentioned, turning a scientific, deeply rooted organization into a more market-driven organization. So this vision, I think is important. The agility, I believe, is something which is very important as a leader. You need to of course, have the vision, but also, carry on towards this vision. But you cannot be too much close-minded and, not having the ability to anticipate also certain changes which needs to happen and to pivot, right? I think also quickly sometimes to make the adjustments which are necessary. So those are, I would say, the skills, I would imagine the company, or my CEO would be still looking for.
Sure. And do you think, we've obviously touched upon your academic and technical background and that transition into commercial, do you think that's important? Is that kind of an additional extra for you specifically, or do you think that would be vital in any successor?
I think it's an important part to engage, and speak the same language, not only with your customers, but with the organization. It enables you to be credible, to build the trust, to, when you walk through, the labs or the facilities, to have this ability to engage into, what is their work, what are the needs, and to be able to respond and to ask, certain questions or to make certain comments, I think is really building the link, I would say, to the rest of the organization and the trust element as well. So, I think it's an important criteria. I think you can learn it as well. I mean, I've been seeing, in the industry, a very successful leader who did not have necessarily a technical, education, who have stepped into those roles and very successfully, but they were sufficiently curious, I would say, and open-minded to even learn. I would say probably not to the deepest degree, right, but to engage into those conversations, learn the vocabulary, learn what is important, for the operations, for the R&D, what matters to them as well. So. Not a prerequisite in the sense from a diploma perspective, but this curiosity, I think, is really critical.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Thank you. And something that we like to ask, and obviously, as you know, we're looking to speak with CDMO industry leaders and people that have inspirational career stories and can pass on insight to the next generation of leaders and even tips to existing leaders. So if you were to recommend one person for us to speak to on this podcast, who would it be?
I would recommend you to speak to Karen Fallon,
okay,
the CEO of Touchlight.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. We'll reach out to Karen. Yeah. So we like to end every episode with a quick fire closer. So just three quick questions. So what's the best career advice that you've ever received?
You own it and trust your instincts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you would pass on? Would that be your advice to any future leader?
Yes, and I think it's a general advice, to anyone who wants to have a career development. I think, you need to own your own journey. I mean, of course, you will face certain external challenges along the way. It's never so straightforward. But you are the one who really, has the power to decide and to make choices. So it's with you. And then you need to, I think, the second one is trust your instincts, because, you are the one who knows, right? I mean, inside of you, really what matters. And, from that perspective, I think you are really the one who can decide and go on. And this is, I would say the two advices, I gave to my team. But also, I give back to me on a daily basis every time I face a new challenge. And it's something, you can apply in your professional life, but also personally. We are all very well connected, right, into this world, and there is a lot of opportunities. But ultimately, I mean, it's about you, right? I mean, put yourself into the center of your life. Great.
No, that's perfect. And with that in mind, would you say there's one particular trait that any leader should have or would need in 2026 and beyond?
Oh, there are so many. For a leader, I think, we can talk business, but I think, what is certainly important for me as a leader, in leading the team, coaching people, developing them, is the empathy. we did not really talk about it, but I think it's important as well. It doesn't mean, again, that you need to, because the person needs to own it, right? But I think understanding, showing that you understand is very important, because this is how you build trust, and then how you build engagement and motivation, because you want to have a team which is motivated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then final question, is there a book or a podcast or even an individual, a person that's really influenced your thinking?
Yeah. So one person. So as I mentioned, at the beginning, I'm French. I'm also, very much. I would say close to the topic of women in leadership, and I've had the opportunity to meet with a French lady whose name is Shin Lonsman, and she's very well versed into women leadership and career transitions. And she's not from the industry. She works across different industries, but I think her advice is into how you need to more put yourself again at the center of your decisions are very good. So she speaks very well English. So if any people are interested, you can certainly look into it. And then more from a very practical perspective, one book I enjoyed reading. It's not a very recent book, but it's called The 25th Hour, because I'm always looking for solutions to gain some time in my more professional but also personal life. So that are very two important, I would say, person and books which have influenced some of my recent decisions. Yeah.
Great, no, really appreciate that, and great place to finish, I think, with some good advice and recommendations. So thanks very much for joining us, Marie. I know it's a very busy week, so appreciate you taking the time. Enjoy the rest of DCAT, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Thank you again for the invitation. It's been great to talk into, again, this very nice environment, and a pleasure to exchange, about the career development and the important traits of leadership. So thank you again. Wishing you also a successful DCAT. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, thanks.